Hello, it's Queen Kitten back with a tutorial video. In today's video, I will share in detail how I turn a basic sketch to the final product. As a disclaimer, I'm not a professional art teacher with a degree, but I am sharing my process that someone else might find helpful. This is my first attempt at a tutorial, so it may be a little rough to follow. Either way, I hope you enjoy your time with me today. Let's get started. Okay, so here we have a basic sketch. I just put in the basic ideas of everything. You can see I have some kind of floating islands attached to each other by some chains or something. There is a large structure like an arena in the middle floating island. Then down more in the foreground we have two guys battling each other, or at least the idea of them. None of this is in any detail, and it's just a base. Then in the very left corner foreground is a person mining stone. Now this is exactly what I showed my client when I was designing and giving basic ideas for the project. As you can see, not perfect in any way. Now that we have this, I went ahead and added just a teeny bit more details, not much, just like some trees and clouds and a couple extra people. This is where I start the real drawing. I'm starting with the battling boys. As I sketch out my digital software, you can see I'm using the sketch more as a guided outline. I'm not completely tracing them, but I'm improving the shape and adding details. What you can't see is how many times I redo the lines to get it to where it looks good. It takes a little trial and error, but believe me, this sketched out line helps me a ton. Now you can see I did the same thing with the rest of the Minecraft people in this scene. This is also where I start to sketch out the shape of the islands. Now you'll notice when I trace out the arena here, it isn't quite centered in the middle, and I felt for the picture to work, it needed to be there in the middle, so I just grabbed it from the layer and moved only the building, then adjusted the scenery accordingly to fit. Then I make chains and the rest of the background suggesting an ocean. Now we are done with our line layer and we can move on to color. Every time I start something new, I make a new layer. Layers make it simple to edit specific items in your art as you go on. Now what I'm doing here is pretty interesting. I am fading in a simple blue color with an airbrush. I make the layer invisible, then turn transparency on. I make a new layer and I paint bucket in white color to the ocean. It does depend on the software you're using, but now I'm going to take the blue color layer I made and clip it to the layer with white. This will make the blue color only show up on the white that we made. Complicated? Confused? Don't worry, just play around with your tools and you'll get what I said. Now following kind of the same principle, we will be making base colors for everything in their own layers so we can do the same thing and add details easiest. I'll zoom in here and you can see I add shining white to the armor using the clipping method. Now I'm going to start shading in with this method. I take the airbrush tool and start using dark colors to go in the crevices. Maybe I use different tones to make it natural looking. Now I'm going to add texture, first to the ocean. For this method, I have this picture of water. I will turn its opacity way down and I'll clip it to that original white base layer for the ocean. See what I did there? Same idea for the dirt. Now I'm adding what I call highlights, basically the lightest point where the sun hits on the dirt. Now this time I'm going to texture the grass by hand instead of using a picture. As you can see, I'm just using basic lines and shapes to convey the idea of grass. I use different colors and shades of green. I play around with it a bit. I turn the opacity way down a bit too. Reason I do this is because we don't want the grass texture to distract us from the picture as a whole. Not everything in this art style is going to have a high level of detail, so it won't look good if it stands out too much. Now this is where I started adding blunt shading and light to things like the bushes, trees, clouds, the arena, and stone. And we're done! Here's the original sketch to the end product. I will admit, it was a bit of a challenge figuring out how to make a tutorial out of this video, but I hope you took something away from this that you can use in your art. Now a word from our sponsor, me. I wanted to let all my viewers know that I am now accepting new clients. If you've been wanting a custom original character profile picture, logo, or graphic design, or even a new custom Minecraft skin, come join my Discord or Instagram and message me for further details. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed your time with me today, and I wish you have a lovely day.